Hi biologists, let's start by looking at the learning objectives for this lesson. At the end of this section, and following the biology syllabus, you should be able to define the term cancer and give two possible causes of cancer. What does this actually mean? What are we trying to learn? Well, it is very straightforward. Basically, learn the definition of cancer and be able to give two possible causes of cancer. Let's look at cancer. The definition of cancer is a learning outcome of this lesson. Therefore, we had better make it our business to learn it off by heart. Cancer is a group of disorders in which certain cells lose the ability to control the rate of mitosis and the number of times that mitosis or cell division takes place. Basically, these cells lose the ability to control the rate at which they carry out cell division. Another definition or way of looking at cancer is that it's the uncontrolled multiplication of abnormal cells. Abnormal cells because they lose the ability to control mitosis. Such a group of cells then results in a malignant tumour. It is very important in biology to be able to control the rate of cell division, because this then will allow for normal growth. Now, there are two types of tumours. There are benign tumours and malignant tumours. So let's have a look at each type in turn. Benign means kind. So benign tumours are a group of abnormal cells that are not life-threatening, because these cells stop dividing after some time. These cells are cells that you would find in warts or maybe skin tags, which would be little flaps of skin commonly found perhaps on your shoulders. Now, these type of tumours or benign cells don't invade other tissues and can be surgically removed. We often hear of people removing warts and removing skin tags just for cosmetic reasons more than anything else. Now, the second type of tumour are what we call malignant tumours. You can see, if you're a French student there, mal meaning bad. Now, malignant tumours are bad cells or bad groups of cells. They're created when abnormal cells lose control or they don't have the ability to control the rate of cell division. They are formed due to, as I've just said, the uncontrolled multiplication of abnormal cells. Now, unfortunately, these cells divide indefinitely. Sometimes they are said to be immortal because they never stop dividing. And they can also move and invade other tissues. This is called metastasis. This basically means that cancerous cells can break off from the tumour and travel in your blood or circulatory systems to new sites and thus form new tumours. These tumours are treated by surgery, where they're removed, or by using radiation and chemotherapy or chemicals. We will come back to this point later. Now, what are the causes of cancer? Well, carcinogens or cancer-causing agents cause cancer. Now, we need to be very careful here from an exam point of view. If we're asked what causes cancer, it is expected that we will be able to give a list of the carcinogens, not necessarily explain the mutations that carcinogens cause. You see, what happens here is carcinogens, cancer-causing agent, agents, things like cancer-causing chemicals, well, they cause mutations or they cause changes in genes. They actually cause changes to the DNA. Now, these mutated genes are called oncogenes, and it is these oncogenes, genes that have mutated, have the potential to transform a cell into a tumour cell, because the tumour cell will lose the ability to control cell division, and thus the oncogenes could be said to cause cancer. Normal cell behaviour is no longer controlled, but as I've just said, if you're asked for the causes of cancer, the expected answer in an exam would be to list the carcinogens. I would suggest that you could write this introductory paragraph here, explaining to the examiner that carcinogens cause cancer by causing mutations in genes, these mutated genes being oncogenes, and these oncogenes having the potential to cause a tumour. Now, what are the types, and have we some examples of carcinogens? Well, the first type of carcinogen would be carcinogenic chemicals. Now, carcinogenic chemicals are things like cigarette smoke, asbestos, and dioxins. Now, be very careful here. Carcinogenic chemicals are a type of carcinogen, whereas cigarette smoke, asbestos, and dioxins, they are examples of carcinogenic chemicals. Another thing to be aware of here is if you are asked for an example of a carcinogen, state the term cigarette smoke. Don't use the term smoking. Smoking is a verb and an activity, but it is the actual cigarette smoke causes the cancer. Asbestos is a chemical that was commonly used in roofs for houses or sheds, and dioxins are chemicals that are produced when you burn plastics. Now, the second type of carcinogen is radiation. The radiation that can cause cancer would be ultraviolet light. As everyone knows, overexposure to ultraviolet light has the potential of causing skin cancer. X-rays can cause cancer, and so too can radon gas. This explains why, when you're having an X-ray taken in the hospital, that the radiographer will take cover or take shelter either outside the room or behind a special protective screen, so that they cut down on the cancer risks for themselves. Viruses are the third type of carcinogen. Papillomavirus is responsible for causing cervical cancer in females. You might recall in school that you were given a vaccine, perhaps in first year, against the HPV virus. Other viruses, like the hepatitis B virus, they have the potential to cause liver cancer. So just returning to the point again, if you were asked for different types of carcinogens, the three types are carcinogenic chemicals, radiation, and certain viruses. Cigarette smoke, asbestos, etc. are examples. Therefore, you should be able to understand if you are asked for two types of carcinogens and you give cigarette smoke and asbestos as your answer, you might not get the marks. That is because you picked two examples, cigarette smoke and asbestos, of carcinogenic chemicals. So therefore, you've really only given one type of carcinogen. So be very careful of this point in exams. Now, most cancers can be cured, especially, and this is the important point, if they are discovered and treated early. Treatments for cancer involve surgery, where cancerous tissue would be physically removed. A second treatment is radiation, where radiation is used to kill cancer cells. This is quite a delicate procedure because we are anxious to kill the cancer cells, not healthy cells. The third type of treatment is chemotherapy. You can see the word chemo there. This is the use of chemicals that slow down the rate of mitosis. And there you have it. Practice in a jotter. Now that we have reached the end of our lesson, have we achieved our objective? Can you define the term cancer? Can you give 2 possible causes of cancer?